Hi, I'm Dan, the Rare Coin Man, and I'm also the webmaster of a new website called rarecoins101.com. Today, we're going to introduce a series on what we call sleeper coins. Now, what is a sleeper coin? As many of you probably already know, a sleeper coin is a term that's often used to describe a coin that is temporarily priced below its true market value, that's positioned to someday rise significantly in price to properly realign itself in relation to its scarcity relative to demand. Now that's a big mouthful, I know, but let's look at it this way. In other words, if past performance is any indicator, a sleeper coin is quiet and sleeping right now, but will someday wake up with a vengeance and explode in value. Sleeper coins can happen because of the cyclical or the roller coaster nature of rare coin pricing, but note, for carefully selected key date coins, overall the trend is up. Now, there are lots of collectors out there searching for sleeper coins, and why not? Everybody likes a good deal, right? The problem most sleeper coin hunters run into is, how do they know when they found the coin temporarily depressed in selling price? Without value trend data from the past, the selling price of today cannot be put in historical context. Is it a bargain or not compared to a few years ago? Is now the time to take the plunge, or to buy, or not? These are the all-important questions asked, and that's where Rare Coins 101 comes in. Thanks to my many years of value trend research, I have the scoop on sleeper coins. Now, some would say I've led a pretty boring life accumulating all this data. Well, maybe so, but because I keep so much data on historical coin value trends, it's possible to recognize a true sleeper coin when I see one. In fact, I've got a list of sleeper coins. One of the dates on the sleeper coin list is the 1875 cc Seated Liberty 20-cent piece. Today, we're going to take a closer look at the 1875 cc 20-cent piece. This oddball denomination coin has enjoyed high popularity with collectors for the better part of a century, if not longer, but in recent years, it's kind of slacked off and taken a bit of a tumble. There is some real potential in this one for sleeper coin bargain hunters. So, if you're ready, let's get started. Before we get into the charts for the 1875 cc 20-cent coin, a little background information is in order about the 20-cent piece itself. Now, you notice sometimes I call it the 20-cent coin, the 20-cent piece. Both terms are used by collectors, and I use the terms interchangeably as well. The most successful collectors, really, no matter how success is defined, take the time to learn the stories underlying their coins of interest. The more you know, the better off you are. The 20-cent piece was the shortest-lived denomination in United States history, running from just 1875 to 1878. Why was this offbeat coin created to begin with? Mint director Henry Linderman wrote in 1874 that the 20-cent coin would help in making change in places where the 5-cent coins circulated poorly. Other arguments, somewhat flimsy to be honest, tried to muster support for the striking of the 20-cent coins. In retrospect, it was probably the cynical observers who hit the nail on the head when they countered that the 20-cent coin was just another political payoff to the silver mining industry, which wielded a great deal of power and influence with Uncle Sam back in those days. Regardless of the reasoning behind the 20-cent coin, it was not well received with the American public. The biggest complaint was its close resemblance to the quarter in both size and appearance, leading to confusion and causing errors in making change. In looking at these images, it most certainly is easy to see how people got these two coins frequently mixed up. The front side of the coin looks very much similar to one another, and their diameters are just about the same. It really was difficult to tell the difference between a 20-cent coin and a quarter. The mint felt the backlash from the people and scaled back production dramatically for the 20-cent coin in its second year of existence, 1876. In 1877 and 1878, striking of the 20-cent coin was limited to about 1,100 proof examples total, with no regular business strikes. And with that, the 20-cent coin faded away into the sunset, never to return. Now let's examine more closely the track record of the 1875 CC. There were about 133,000 20-cent coins struck at Carson City in 1875. Here's a photo of the Carson City Mint right here. Well, the building was still pretty new. The building still stands today. Pretty much looks like it did back then. It's a museum. And interestingly, one of the very first coin presses that was put in service there in 1870 is still there, and it's operational, and it's used to strike souvenir medallions. Now, the 133,000 wasn't a real low mintage, but with little demand and nowhere to go, most of them never left the mint and were melted down, thus transforming the surviving 1875 CC population into a numismatic rarity. Okay, let's go to the charts for the 1875 CC. To get there, you go to the key date coin list on Rare Coins 101, and the 1875 CC belongs to the good group. There's several different groups in the key date coin list, so we'll find it. Right there it is, and click the link, and it goes to a page dedicated to the 1875 CC Cedar Liberty 20-cent coin. And here we see this chart right here. Let's get rid of this little ad. It depicts the retail value trends from 1990 to the present time, and in fine condition. There's other conditions that are listed here as well. In fine condition, the 1875 CC in 1990s was retailing for about $67.50 approximately. By 2003, it had risen to $100. Starting in about 2003, there was a big bull market in rare coins, and the 1875 CC definitely participated in that big run-up. By 2008, it had reached $600, and it was still there in 2014, $600. Starting then, it started going down in value, and it looked like by 2021, it bottomed out at $375, but now it seems like it's moving a little bit higher. And you will see similar type pricing patterns for other conditions as well. I want to take a minute here to go to this chart, which we can actually go back to 1950 to see how this thing is done in retail value trends. So in 1950, a coin in the 1875 CC 20 cent was selling for about $4.50 in 1950 in fine condition. And you can see it goes up steadily here. $36 to $45, looking in just fine condition by 1970, and then $60, and then in 1980 it actually declined a little bit and then went back up to $100, and by 1990 it lost quite a bit of value and fell to $67.50. So the thing does have a long record of going up and down, but mostly up because it is a key date coin that is popular with collectors. The trend line average of this coin, and trend line average is discussed in some depth in the Rare Coins 101 website. But I tell you, the bigger this number, the better off it has done in terms of percentage gains over time. And the trend line corresponds to the slope. And the steeper this slope, the better the coin has done. And in studying many thousands of collectible United States coins, I can tell you that the 13.91 trend line average is really quite good. That's how it made the recommendation list for the key date coins. Now, to show you how this is done compared to another 20-cent piece that's far more common, we just need to click this link right here. And that would be the 1875S Seated Liberty 20-cent coin. And there's a lot more of them in existence today than the 1875cc. And it's got a trend line average of 3.12. That's not nearly as big. The trend lines the slopes aren't nearly as steep. So indicating that its price performance is rather mediocre for the long haul. So let's go back to the chart for the 1875cc again. Now that we've examined the value trends for this coin going back many decades, we can now explain why it should be viewed as a sleeper coin. It's got a long track record of rising and falling in value, but with the overall trend strongly upward. It last peaked in 2014, then lost quite a bit of value, but now once again appears to be finally moving higher. If you're interested in finding a sleeper coin, the 1875cc 20-cent is a coin you should really consider. It's also nice too that the price range for the coin in a variety of conditions, it's well within the reach of many collectors. It doesn't take many thousands or hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars to get one of these. So that's nice that so many people can still afford this. Now, it's important to mention that just because this coin has done well in the past, there is no absolute guarantee we'll see a repeat performance in the future. In fact, nobody can predict the future with 100% confidence, but there is every reason to like the prospects of the 1875cc 20-cent in the years ahead. You know, maybe the 20-cent coin would not have been such a flop had it not been released during one of the worst economic downturns to plague the United States during the 19th century. Jobs were tough to find throughout much of the 1870s. Some of the blame for the misery can be traced back, according to the historians, to the Coinage Act of 1873. That's a long story. Maybe we'll cover that some other time. But by the time the nation got back on track economically, the 20-cent coin was long gone, never to return. Despite the inglorious life and quick demise of the 20-cent coin, collectors of the 21st century view it with a great deal of respect. Now, although the 1876cc 20-cent is one of the most fantastic rarities in American numismatics, it's the 1875cc that has actually done better in terms of percentage gains over time and enjoys the most attention from ordinary collectors. That's all for today. I hope you enjoyed this video on sleeper coins. I expect to be highlighting a few more sleeper coins in the months ahead. Now, if this is something that interests you, please remember to hit the like button as well as the subscribe button so you don't miss out on any future episodes. Until next time, this is Dan, the Rare Coin Man, signing off. Happy collecting!